I'm Marufa, a legal bookkeeper specializing in helping law firms to stay compliant with trust accounting rules. Today, I want to show you something that wakes me up at night, and this should concern you too if you are a law firm owner. I'm talking about your chart of accounts in QuickBooks Online. Most bookkeepers set it up wrong, and the scary part, you might not even know that it is wrong until there is a compliance audit or bar association violation. In next 10 minutes, I'll show you exactly how an inaccurate setup of chart of accounts can lead to serious trust account violation, a failed three-way reconciliation, and serious legal troubles. So let's dive in. This is a chart of accounts set up by a general bookkeeper who is great for general businesses but doesn't understand trust accounting. The first step is in chart of account is to set up the trust ledger. We can see the trust account ledger is set up properly into the chart of account into the QuickBooks Online. The first step is done properly. And the next step is creating the trust liability account, creating the individual trust ledgers for each client for the law firms. And this important part is missing from the chart of account. As you can see, there is no trust liability account set up for the law firms. Now, what will be the consequence? You have the trust ledger, the money comes in and out from the trust ledgers. This part is okay. But can you tell just by looking into a trust account that for which client, how much money is there? You cannot tell this. And the scary part is when there will be an audit and the auditor will ask you, what is the balance of client A? Or how much money is left for client B? Show me the ledger. Can you show them the ledger? The answer is no. Because your general bookkeeper didn't set up the trust liability account for each client into the chart of account on your QuickBooks Online. Now, let's get into a situation where the money is deposited into a trust account. For example, there are clients, client A, client B. For client A, money came into a trust account on 5th of May with an amount of $5,000. You have recorded into the trust ledger, that part is okay. But can we see for which client or which trust liability account is allocated for this amount? We cannot tell this. Let's go into the transaction detail. This is the transaction detail. We can see the amount has been allocated into the billable expense income. This has been directly categorized into the income account, which is absolutely incorrect. Every transaction into your trust account must be categorized under that respective client liability account, not into the income account, because unless the work is completed and you have raised the invoice, that can never be categorized as an income. And from trust account, it is never correct to categorize this as an income. From the operating account, you can categorize this as an income. That's the bookkeeping part. But the simple part is every transaction that comes in and goes out from your trust account must be categorized for that particular client of your firm. I hope this makes sense. And similar case for client B. As we can see that another money came into the trust account for $3,000. We see this has also been categorized into the income, which is again wrong. And to make this more scary, what happened when a money goes out from the account. For example, here we can see a payment was made from the trust account for $2,000. For example, this was for client A for paying the professional fees to an external attorney. So the general bookkeeper, what he did, he categorized the transaction into legal and professional fees, which is again incorrect because we cannot tell by seeing into the transactions that for which client the money has been paid. And more importantly, in the client ledger, if there isn't client ledger, you cannot even say that for which client, how much money is left, how much money came into the account. And again, this is a serious violation of a trust account. Now, after all the scary parts, the next question comes into the mind: how to solve this problem, how to clean this mess up. Definitely there's a solution. The solution is to fix this up by setting the chart of accounts properly. And what is the accurate process? Let's get into the accurate process now. The first step is to create the trust liability account. The trust ledger is already created into the account, so that part is done. The next part is creating the trust liability account. Let's create the trust liability account. We go to the chart of account, click on new account. Account name, client, trust, liability. We select other client liabilities, then under this option, detail type, trust liability account, save. And we need to create the sub account under the trust liability account because we need to track the individual client ledgers. And we can only do that once we create the individual client trust ledgers into the chart of account. So again, new account, the client name, for example, here the client A, then other client liabilities, trust. And now we'll make it a sub account under the client trust liability. Similarly, we'll create another client ledger for client B. Now, let's see the chart of account. We have the trust liability account. Under this, we have the sub account for the clients, client A, client B. And now we'll be able to see how much money is allocated or how much money, how much balances are there for each client into the client ledgers. Before that, let's see what is the reflection of the inaccurate setup of client ledgers. The inaccurate transaction categorization into the trust ledger. How does this reflect into our balance sheet and three-way reconciliation? Let's go into the balance sheet. You see, the bank balance is 8,000 for trust account. There is no account for liability, nothing, and net income is 8,000, which is absolutely incorrect. You see, the three-way reconciliation means your bank account, your trust ledger in QuickBooks Online, and all client ledger balances will be the same at any point of time, down to the penny. We have the bank balance correct, we have the trust ledger correct, but the only thing is missing client trust liability, which is making the three-way reconciliation improper and inaccurate. Now, let's see what is the right approach to deal with the transactions. We'll go into the trust account, we see the transactions. Remember, we have seen that the client deposit of 5,000 for client A, for client B, it was 3,000. Let's correct those. For client B, we'll categorize this for client B. The sub-account of client trust ledger liability. Save and close. Now for client A, let's fix this as well. Client A. Okay. Remember, we have one payment left. That's 2,000. Let's correct this one too. So this was paid from client A. So we will select client A for this. Save and close. Now, you can see the three-way reconciliation, the reflection of the three-way reconciliation, both from chart of account and also from the balance sheet. First, let's see it from the chart of account. Your trust account balance is 6,000 now. And the trust liability account balance is 6,000. 3,000 for client A, 3,000 for client B. Audit ready, compliant, and accurate. Now, let's see the balance sheet again. Okay, we have run again. Audit. See, the client trust liability is 6,000. The trust bank account balance is 6,000 and your bank balance is 6,000. So all three-way reconciliation is done properly and accurately. And you can show your client ledger to the bar auditors or any compliance auditors at any point of time that how much money is left or what is the actual balance for each client into the client ledgers. So this is the fix of a chart of account. Chart of account is the backbone of bookkeeping. And for your legal bookkeeping, it is the main part or starting part from where the bookkeeping starts. So make sure it is done correctly. I know this seems very technical, and if you're watching this and thinking, I'm not sure if my QuickBooks Online is set up properly, then reach to us. We help the law firm fixing up the chart of account, ensuring the three-way reconciliation is done accurately with 100% compliance. If you found this video helpful, then please subscribe. We post weekly videos on QuickBooks Online legal bookkeeping, especially for law firms. You can check out our services at legalbookkeeping.online as well. Thank you for watching and stay compliant.